Hey guys, welcome to another session of CZN. This is going to be a showcase video for Veronica. We're going to talk about her cards, how she should be used, how she should be thought of in a team composition. But to give you context, if you don't have her, you might wish you had her. If you do have her and you don't have her, ready or built, or you're using her, hopefully this video will be helpful for that, because I think she can read as a very underwhelming character, but I think she has a big role to play, especially in endgame style content. Now, when you're running Chaos, one of the things I found, I've tried multiple different compositions, like Maribel, people with shields, and then having Mika as a healer, and then one damage dealer. Sometimes you just don't do enough damage, or you get too much stress for staying in a nightmare run for too long, and so it becomes quite a hassle. You almost want to have an additional damage dealer, but that can also feed your main damage dealer. Now, as you see, my account is pretty scuffed. I have very little 5 stars, but I guess in a way it's a blessing in disguise, because I got to learn Veronica, Renoa, and Rin very, very well. It's not to say that if you have a full stack of all 5 stars, you can't learn them very well, but I had to force myself to learn them at a deeper level because of the time, the amount of time spent. But I have to say that Veronica proves to me that she's going to be in one of my main decks for sure. She's paired well with Rin already, and I did tests early on with Rin because of my YouTube comments. When I did a Rin showcase video, a lot of you guys in the comments were saying like, oh, try her with Beryl, try her with Veronica. And I'm talking about Rin's comp. And it turns out like Veronica is really good, but she was even better with my Renoa, which was really good for my Chaos runs. So with Veronica on the team, I was able to pull off Chaos. As you saw, my rank was like level 43. I was able to do the last, this Foretold Ruin area. I was able to do difficulty 5 at Nightmare. I don't know if there's a way to show if you've completed the Nightmare via or non-Nightmare, but I did complete it on the Nightmare mode in my first try, my first attempt. And the other thing was when I reached level 40, Zero System was available. And I ran my first codex. I did it on live stream, and I posted that on the YouTube channel as well. Some of you guys may have watched it, some of you guys may have been there, even in the live stream, but I was able to beat the City of Mist without any of the my upgrades. Like, I've upgraded this past obviously that run because since I got the currency to do it, but when my first run, it was like 0 upgrades, and I did a blue City of Mist, so not legendaries, not the orange one, but there was a lot of like debuffs, so like 40% less HP or whatever. I ran with like 800 HP at the end. Veronica, in my opinion, and maybe with some other luck, again, no spoilers, but I was able to beat that in my one shot as well. I had originally done the Nightmare run version of it because I wanted to build a very solid deck for Veronica for this showcase. And then now after those 2 runs, I'm very, very pleased with Veronica. I'm very confident in doing this showcase and talking about her, because now I really learned how to use her, and I really know, I think, where she fits in a team synergy type deal. Now, so I think before we even get to the cards, I think where she slots in, I don't think she can be a primary damage dealer. She doesn't output enough damage fast enough, but I think she's a really, really, really strong candidate as a sub DPS. When I say sub DPS, don't get me wrong, it's not that she does low damage, it's just because the amount of cards she plays isn't all about executing as much damage as possible. So when paired with Rin, she's really good because one of her primary functions is a card battery. In other words, she can create a ton of cards for others to use, discard, or whatever have you, depending on the mechanic. I think in Kairon's case, it would just be exhaust. But like Renoa, she'll like eat her cards up for dirge bullets. For Rin, she has a ton of skill cards, or can at least with the right epiphanies, create a ton of skill cards, draw a ton of other skill cards. So if you have Mika on your 3rd slot, a lot of this I'm going to show in a combat demo anyway, but she's going to draw a ton of skill cards, so Rin will also ramp up and also do a ton of damage really fast. So I mean, this is in context of what the 5-star hero damage dealers I have. So Veronica, again, fits in a very good category where she will help your primary DPS output more damage faster, and she herself is she's not a wimp. Look at the damage here at 637. These memory fragments are not even like I haven't really been quote unquote hunting memory fragments. This is new. Is it even better? Ooh, this might be even better. I'll have to look into this. But it's just like stuff that has been okay. If there was decent substats, I upgraded it just because of the benefit from like min-maxing. All of that helped, but I have not been farming memory fragments, so to speak. Only enough to do the achievements to get the currency to the whole progression thingy. But if you take a look at the stats, right? 637, 669, and I would say I put more effort into Renoa than I did into Veronica in terms of making them a beast. But again, that's I think where Veronica really shines. It's just how she works. So let's talk about her starting cards first, and I'll go through my deck and I'll introduce my deck into my combat demo so you guys get the full gist. As you see, again, the top starting cards, hers are pretty important. I would say her basic attacks, rapid fire, are actually not even a bad one. Like, I think for someone like Renoa, I would say like if you were to remove cards, removing the top 3 starting cards are almost like necessary. But if you don't have enough like remove actions, then like maybe just remove one annihilation shot. 120% damage, right? There's 104, of course, but you have a 20% chance of creating an extra Ballista. Now, Ballista will be seen over and over or reload in her kit because that's really kind of what she's kind of built around. Her specialty is firing preparation, which it is the Outbreak of War, which means that it will always be a starting card. And if you play it on every turn, at the start of every turn, she'll create 1 Ballista card. We're gonna take a look at it as well, but let's talk about again what to remove. I think for her, the only cards I would remove, assuming you get the full deck, is probably the shield, of course, as a DPS. And I think that her other cards are so valuable. Running this as a 1 AP shield is just super not worth it. Remove the shield for sure. I would dare say remove bombardment prep. And you might be like, okay, wait, that's kind of weird. Like this, like usually people don't want to remove epiphany card, right? But I think for her in this case, because you can't epiphany it, you can't make it better. It max stacks a reload plus one reload. Usually you can only get ballistas stacked up to 3. This will allow you to get up to 4. For 1 AP, I'm not 100% sure that's worth it, but I can see it being useful, and I still have it in my actual save data. I have it in my decks, but now that I've played with her quite a bit, I would be like, I would say that it's useful to get rid of it. If you're trying to min-max, of course, we're kind of in mid-game. So if you're around my level, you're around mid-game right now. We're definitely not at end-game. I think in end-game, potentially, we can remove this. Maybe you want to keep it, but maybe remove one of these other cards, assuming you get like a lot of good duplicates. Now, here's where the meat and potatoes start, right? So you have this starting card. This will always be a unique Outbreak of War, which means that it will always be at the top of the draw pile, which means you get it at turn 1. If you do get traumatized, let's say for example, you're stressed and your Veronica gets traumatized, you do note that because you can't play the card, you have to free her before you can play this card before she starts generating ballistas. So in a chaos run, especially in a long run, this becomes a bit of a balancing act, but it's not like you can get away from it. So it's just something for you to note. In other content where you can actually use proper decks, you most likely won't get traumatized unless you're just tanking forever and you're not even putting up shields to tank. You're just like healing. So that's not an issue. But if we take a look at the epiphanies, most of her variations are all about the different ballistas outside of the first one. The first one, I would say the 50% chance to create additional one, in my opinion, is not that worth. I'm not a big fan of this one. I'd rather have a different effect. So the ballistic card at nature, the natural ballistic card, if you take a look at the left there, at the end of the turn, 153% extra attack to a random enemy. So if you do get the 50% chance, the coin toss, you get the additional, of course, that's about 306% damage. So it's not terrible, and like I said, she could output damage at the end of the turn, and it's usually pretty big damage. Again, with the stats that I showed at the beginning, and then plus the high damage modifiers for her card. The next one is the Piercing Ballista. At the end of the turn, it's 153 piercing damage. So piercing damage goes through the shield. So instead of the damage being absorbed by a shield where you have to break and then hit their HP, this can get straight through it. So this could be, I would say this one's actually pretty good. To a random enemy, if the target has a shield, plus 50% damage too. So you're doing 203% damage, assuming they have a shield, and you could probably keep a deck with this epiphany if you have content, especially late game content. I think they're gonna rely on shields, and as we know, in late run chaos and in zero system, a ton of enemies generate shield every turn, and like you have to break through the shield, right? So there's a lot of damage check content, and therefore again, Veronica really shines in this. But Piercing Ballista I think is one of my favorites as well. Enhanced Ballista is the 30% crit chance. I like this a lot as well. I would say this one and Piercing are my two favorites. I think both of my decks, well actually one of my save decks for her is running Enhanced, but I don't think I got to choose Piercing between Enhanced and Piercing, because I think if I had the choice, if it was like, you know, 1, 2, 3, but I had these two choices, I would pick the Piercing over the extra crit chance, but the crit chance is still pretty good. But crit chance, of course, it matters if you have high crit damage. Now, Veronica's potentials actually unlocks more crit damage. So if you go to her potential here, I think this one, oh no, this one right here. Oh, this is crit chance. Is it this one? This one's crit damage. And so it's not nothing. And I think a lot of you can buff crit chance, right? So I think it's a decent option. 30% crit chance is it happens a lot more than you think. And I had that what's it called? Zero system run, where I could have almost one shot the boss as long as I crit, but I didn't do the crit. But yeah, that was a fun run. But anyways, let's talk about this again. Going to Giant Ballista at the end of this turn. 122 extra attack to all enemies. This one's also pretty nice. I'm thinking long term, like you could build multiple decks, right? And that's the beauty of CZN. You can build multiple decks and equip them for different content. I'm beginning to do that with my Renoa at a pretty efficient rate. I have one Renoa, which I'll introduce, which is super supportive, and one that is insane damage. Just every single action would be like output damage, output damage, output damage. So for her, definitely this would be like a great mob killer. 122 is not nothing, and the fact that it's always AoE is going to be very nice to have. I believe we don't have enough AoE characters, but I do understand why, just because AoE at this point is so good for mob clearing. But yes, if you could get that, that'd be great. The one Shelling Ballista card, at the end of the turn, 61 times 2 extra attack to random enemies. So it will be separate hits, so you'll kind of split the difference. This is 122 total damage, so it's just like this, but it's not as high as these, right? So to each their own. I think this one to me is the one I don't like the most. This one's kind of good if you have your crit rate at like, let's say 40%, maybe 50%. So you're just kind of like, you're hoping you'll get one of the crits to go off. So you have more chances to crit. I would say that's one of the things that would be good. Maybe something to do with like agony as well, I guess, could be interesting. But I'm not quite sure how she can get agony. But I'm just thinking like damage over time, multiple hits might be better. But right now, I would say my top choices definitely would be Piercing, especially if you know you're going into content with shields. Most bosses have tons of shields. This one's nice just because it's just high damage, but if you have this choice versus something like Shelling, I would take the higher damage. The AoE one's also consideration, but not going to be built for a deck that is like a single high HP boss that you need to burst down. Next one is Repose. Now this is where she starts becoming that quote-unquote card battery. we kind of dealt with her kit where she can be insane damage in and of herself, as you saw the Ballista cards. But this is where I think she starts popping off, being that card battery, good for Renoa, good for Rin, good for other characters that require as many cards exhausted or used, or can be swapped or discarded. So this is super nice. In almost all of it, you have draw 2 combatant cards. This one is just that it has 0. It could be useful. Definitely AP is a scarce resource, so this can be useful. I haven't had to feel the need to use this one on the left just because I have Mika, and I have my Mika built that she's as much as an AP battery as I can. Almost every skill has either wave or AP gaining, etc, etc. I almost choose always to do that for Mika now. I want to get like a better deck for her over time, but I haven't really focused on her yet. So far I haven't needed to, but that's a whole other story. The second one, Repose, is 153 shield, so increase your shield, draw 2 other combatant cards. So she won't draw her own, so that's what I mean that for Rin it's really nice, because she can draw Mika's cards, and if your Mika deck is predominantly all skill or upgrade cards, then Rin is gonna have a lot to feed off of, right? Again, if you don't know how Rin works, or if you have Rin and you haven't built her, I made a video, separate one, just for her, so I think you'll kind of get the gist combined with this. If that card is a skill card, 1 reload. So this one's also nice, has the additional effect that she can get a reload, but remember that she can only get 3 max reloads unless you play this card, Bombardment Prep. Okay, so she's always locked to 3. So in my opinion, it's not necessary. Again, if you want to go super min-max on damage output per turn, this could be something good for you, because you're going to have, I think you're going to have a support character, so they will most likely have a skill. It's quite high likelihood that you'll get this reload, but I think there are other ways to get that reload. I most of the time, at least with my team composition, I don't feel I need this second one, but again, it is still a very viable option. This one, draw 2 other combatant cards, and then cost of cards -1 for 1 turn. So anything that she draws with this one, it will cost less. Now, like I said, AP is a scarce resource, just like this one. So I would almost rather want something like this to hopefully draw a card that will cost less. Because technically, if you're drawing 2 cards, and if the cost of card is, cost of one of the cards is 1 for 1 turn, so it's technically equivalent to this, but you know, sometimes the damage card is going to be something that you'll want like more in terms of like removing the AP. So in case like this is 0, you use it and you get like none of the cards are usable, then I would almost like want to have it this way, where if it's not usable, I don't know, I you know what, it's about the same, except that this one has a shield. This one still has a shield, so I still think this one trumps this one on the left here. And the next one, 1 reload equal to the number of combatant skill cards in hand. This one, again, I think you'll cap out quite a lot. This one, 1 reload equal to the number of combatant skill cards in hand. So other combatant skill. So this one's you're guaranteed almost, I think, if you play it right in terms of your hand. You'll get the 3 reload, and depending on your Ballista, that Ballista might be insane, right? It could be the piercing one. Again, just you have to think about all these things, of course. But I definitely say that the far left one is still the worst one. And the last one, discard all other combatant cards in hand, 1 reload equal to that number. This one would only be usable if you're playing this as almost at the end of the turn. Then I guess like this one could be okay. But remember, it is combatant cards, so it is not like curse cards or anything like that. So unlike Renoa, where she can eat other cards, or even curse cards, you won't be able to do that with this. So I definitely think it's a toss-up. Whichever one you get, by the time you epiphany, you'll get 1 out of 3. Just don't pick the one with the 0, in my opinion. Like having the shield is not nothing anyway, and then everything else is actually pretty nice. But being able to draw the 2 cards from that is super good. This one, the epiphany, when you use your card 1 reload, Again, maxing your reload to 3, so there's a lot of diminishing returns with the concept that she's locked to 3. Again, unless you play that one card that extends it to +1. So you get a reload of 4. When other combatant uses a skill card, reload if 3 are used at the start of turn, 1 micro ballista. So the micro ballista, I think it's just a little bit less damage if I remember correctly. I think it has all of them here. Micro ballista, yeah, it's just a 41%. Like it's not significant. I would say like I don't really like this one. I think I've gotten a chance to choose this one and I just didn't choose it. I just didn't like it. Exhaust 2 for 1 turn when card is used, reload 1. I personally don't like a lot of the stuff that exhausts. I guess if you're playing Kayron, could be a potential combination. When another combatant uses a skill card, 1 reload, 50% chance to gain an additional reload. Again, capping to 3, diminishing returns. There's a lot of chance. If you're gonna play this, is 1 AP, right? There's a lot of RNG involved in this, but then the chances, like, even if you get all the right RNG, do you want the 3 reload? And I think maybe if you're making her as the primary damage dealer, all these reloads to max could be pretty good, right? It means that at the end of the turn, she's always doing somewhat about like 350 to 400% damage, which is, again, not too shabby, right? Depending on the type of ballista you have with her. But this is the one I like the most. Retain and retrieve 4. So you could do it 4 times. So basically, if you discard this card, it'll come back to your hand. So sometimes I like actually using this, and I'll be able to showcase this because I have it in my decks right now. I like using this one because sometimes I can use like I have some spare AP left. Let's say it's a turn where my primary damage dealer like Renoa or Rin doesn't have a damage dealing card, or I already played them, and I have AP left over because Mika luckily has some 0 AP costs that gain me wave, and wave is +3, so I get 1 AP back. You can use this and it will retrieve 4 times into your hand. When it just gets discarded, I think it still remembers. So within the fight, you can reload 2 4 times, which is quite a lot, right? And again, I'll show you guys how that works in our combat demo. But this one's I think my go-to favorite. I think if you have any choice, and every time you see this one, I would choose this one. It feels the most flexible. You don't have to use it if you don't need to, but if you do, you get 2 reload right away, and it's quite useful in my experience. And the last one is Sir Kowalski in terms of the epiphany. This one as well. When drawing a card, this draw 2 in the middle one, like my eyes go straight to it. I see draw 2, I'm like, okay, you got my attention. When drawing a skill card, create 1 extra ballista. And I think this creating ballista is not a reload. So let me talk about what the difference is. For a ballista would be the ballista card in and of itself. Now she by default can only create 1 ballista card per turn as per firing preparation. But Sir Kowalski, will actually be able to create an additional ballista. That means she'll actually shoot 2 ballistas at the end of the turn, which is super nice, on the fact that also plus the fact you get to draw 2 as well. Now the draw 2 could be your own card, it could be other combatants cards. But again, this is part of the reason why I think people are telling me, Jagan, you gotta try her out, she's super underrated. Because she's not like a primary damage dealer, but the amount of card drawing she can do is just pretty amazing. Choose 1 ballista in hand, this one on the left here, 150% damage until used, draw 2. This one's also pretty good. I think this one's slightly better, because this one is plus 150 damage. Your ballistas, depending on the type you have, could be more damage than that, so creating this would be pretty good. This one, draw 1 for 1 turn, 30% ballista damage. I personally don't like this one. I would say this one or this one right now. 250% damage until 1 random ballista in hand is used. Then card is exhausted after activation. Every time I see exhaust, again, with how I play, I personally avoid it. So this one, choose and exhaust 1 ballista in hand. Create 2 ballista card, minus 20% damage until used. Again, reading them, again, I might be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but I definitely think that it's 1 and 3 for me for Sir Kowalski. Definitely high priority to epiphany, potentially high priority even to dupe. So if we're talking about duping cards, I definitely think Sir Kowalski I wouldn't say pendant, especially if you go with the epiphany that I chose here on the right, the retain retrieve. I wouldn't choose it, but I would do either Repose or Sir Kowalski. Those would be my top choices for your duplicates. Now, let's quickly talk about the save data. I have 2 decks technically, but I'm gonna main only one. This one was my first one, and I do like this maneuvering fire. I did get a monster epiphany for this one. 200 damage to all enemies, draw 1. So just being able to draw at 0 AP is insanely good. 4 agony to the target, that's also super awesome to me. So for this deck, I was actually my go-to for a while. I got another monster epiphany for this one. This one enhanced Ballista, this 30% crit chance, but reduce the cost of this card by 1, so it's at 0 AP. So super nice to start. This deck was super good. Again, I used this deck to beat the chaos run that I talked about, the last chaos world at level 5 nightmare. I used this one, and then this one did have the shield. It was placed back because I didn't have enough TB, as you see here, 38,000. This reload was the one I also recommended, and then this shield, if yeah, so this one wasn't optimal. I think I remember I wouldn't have chosen this one if I had other options, but for the time, this was the best one I could get. And Sir Kowalski is not epiphanied, so that one was pretty scuffed. But either way, this helped me beat that last chaos. This one was, I think I got this from the Zero System run, and this was the run I got after the chaos run, which I think is a lot better, especially for my use. There's also Mythic here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's right. I think this one, maybe this was the Zero actually. Actually, I think this one was the Zero run. This one was the Zero run, I believe. I think I got this mythic equipment there. 40% damage, cards cost 0, which isn't that good. Right now, I'm not quite sure if cards that cost 0, if the Ballista counts. Because it's technically not 0, but it's also not 1. So I'm not quite sure about that. Let me know if in the comments down below if you guys know the answer to that. But it did have the highest attack percent. So again, this one was equipped. But again, this one Ballista card, and yeah, this one was epiphanied. Was it? Oh, this one was a weird one. It had a shield, a 20% shield at the end. Was that even part of her? Was that even part? Hold on one sec. I'm doing this live, no rehearsal. I'm just double check. It wasn't. So okay, so it's not even part of her base epiphany. I know what happened. So that one card, this one, I think it's a monster epiphany, but we're just not seeing the monster epiphany icon. I believe that's the case, because I do remember that this deck was actually pretty good. But I think it has something to do with the TB, right? I think some people would say that if your TB is not enough, you don't even get the monster thing, but I think I still have the effect. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And again, the Pendant of Resolution is still what I recommended. So the reason why I think that 2 of her regular attack fire is actually pretty good, it's just because of that 20% chance to create an additional Ballista card. Again, just like the Sir Kowalski thing, this will be an additional Ballista card, a regular Ballista card, mind you, right? So even if you have an epiphanied firing preparation and you have like a different Ballista card, let's say the piercing one, this one can only create the regular one, I think. Or maybe it will change to this. I'm not quite sure. I remember seeing 2 different Ballista cards sometimes in my hand, so I'm assuming that's the case. And then Sir Kowalski, this one's epiphany, like I said. This one is draw 2. It's not my favorite one of his, but I think that this one was still pretty good. Just because I saw the draw 2, I'm just like, okay, I gotta take it. And then this one is a monster epiphany, as you can see. 102 shield, lower the shield amount for the monster one, but draw 2 from other companion for 1 turn, gain 2 resolve, cost of this card by 1 turn. There's just too many nice things about this one for me not to take, so I took that one, and I had this extra for the agony. And I think this card, yes, this card played on my Zero System run where I almost lost. I think this literally actually gave me the win. On top of everything, and that's how I ended up with this after beating that fox with the mouth boss. So, alright, so let's do a combat demo here. I'm gonna do a really quick overview of what I'm gonna run on my Renoa here. I have two main builds for her that I'm really running. And I think I'm gonna go with the first one, because I think we're still gonna win. This one. This one I also got on the same Zero System run that I built my Veronica with. And this one's just insane. When using attack cards, 20% fixed shield, 10 per turn. It carried me throughout that whole run, and therefore I got this like pretty crazy deck. For me, this is an insane deck. This Latch Dis Assault was the last copy, and it was an RNG copy, so unfortunately I would have rather taken like the Flower of Devour Fate in my opinion. But I get 3 Echo of Sorrow, which was super nice. It would have been a really good mid-game deck if I had just gotten something else. Now, of course, this is super not optimal for a damage dealer, but it is really good at sustain. And I just kept this one on her. Since I was building Veronica, Renoa already had this mythic, so Veronica had to take the attack mythic. And this other one, this one was okay as well. I kept this one because I got the mythic on her on this one. But currently I'm using this one because this one has some really nice bullet creating cards. So we have the Flower Devoured Fate. This one applies agony to all, and then this one just discards all combatant enemies. It's an exhaustion one. But I do like this one, and you also create a Dirge Bullet, but you also draw another card. So once the ball gets rolling, she'll do a lot of good damage. I'm actually not quite sure which one I should run here for this showcase. This one's also pretty nice. Like I said, this one's like just pure damage to all enemies, draw 1 next turn, plus 1 AP, and this is 0. I'm really liking the maneuvering fire. I'm really liking starting with AoE, or at least even 224 damage on the first turn. It's super nice. So for Renoa, I'm gonna struggle a bit on what I will bring, but I think I'll run the boss twice. So I'm gonna do farming the challenges, the 3 times per week, because I'm gonna get their currency for what's it called? For potential, the last couple potentials here for Renoa. We just need this little shards of condemnation, so we need to farm that a bit. But let's talk about Mika very quick. Hers is not that crazy. I only have this 1 deck for her. I technically have like 2, but none of them is as good as this one. Again, this one is just a ton of AP. We got wave as usual, 2 wave here, and then we have the 3 fortitudes for buffing really. This one is lower the cost, reduce cost by, we got 1, and this one also reduced. Oh, so this one's actually just lowering more. So yeah, I do run this one now, but I think I had another that's an AP battery. More so than the one I just showed. But we all know how she works, so honestly, you know what? Let's just run it. Okay, so let's go, and then I'll talk through the fight itself. Let's go to simulation, and we're gonna go to the challenge. I want to take out this boss. We're gonna take out Judas, and the reason why I'm gonna choose him too is because that he has a ton of shield. So there's a lot of HP for me to fight. Now, a lot of you guys were actually saying like in my last video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna showcase a video. I need like, you know, more HP enemies. Some of you guys, thank you for the comments saying that go to Basin, and I think Basin is okay. The issue with Basin for me is that, like, you know, there's the other half of the team, but I guess we'll figure it out. But we're gonna do this one first. Now again, my Renoa here is not my maximum damage dealer Renoa, it's my shield Renoa. So first things first, let's talk about Veronica. We're gonna play this right away because we have the Outbreak of War, so we always play that first. So as you see there, the Ballista card is tucked in. It has 0 AP using, and at the end of the turn, 230% attack, extra attack on the enemy. I don't know why it's 230, because that's actually pretty crazy. I think that's actually to do with her, what's it called? Potentially it's to do with the equipment on her, but, or maybe it's something to do with the boss at the moment. But, oh, I think I also have, no, that's not it. Okay, so we're gonna create our... Let's see here. This is just discard 2 cards and create that many Dirge Bullets. But you can see there right up top, because of that gear on Renoa, I'm getting shields. Every time I do damage, I get shields, which is really crazy. I might actually do this, and we're gonna do... I'm actually just gonna create Dirge Bullets right now, and I'm just gonna discard them. So I'm just gonna keep them cycling, so we have maximum Dirge Bullets when we need it. But you see here, that was 96. Now, because I did a counter damage, that was 89. This one is the draw. Let me just see here. So maybe I'll draw because maybe I can get a Dirge Bullet. Or Echo of Sorrow, that would even be better. This one as well, +3 action count to all enemies. This one's good, as you can see here. We will push him back, so he's at turn count 5, so we could do a lot more. I think Rally Cry is one of the high priority ones for people to get in their decks. Maybe in the support. We can play this one. Do this. 300 shield. And this is why that piece of gear is insane to have on a really high end damage dealer. But just keep in mind that, you know, you might be not min-maxing the ultimate damage, but again, every chaos run is going to be RNG anyway, so it's kind of bad. You might not get the ones you want anyway, so take what you can. That's my opinion. Now, I wish I had the flower card right now so I could devour these, but this is the pendant thing, right? So this is her reload number count on the bottom. On the bottom of the HP, that little arrow. If I do this, reload 2, you'll see this pop to 2. But if I do it again, for demonstration's sake, I'm gonna run it. You'll see that it's max 3. Unless I play that one card that adds 4. Then of course you're gonna do a lot more damage, right? But again, to each their own. This is why I kind of don't mind this in the hand, but I don't always have to play it. Again, depending on what kind of cards I have. As you see, I have so much AP on this turn. It's unfortunate. I think if I play it, I grant him a shield, right? So let's not do that. I've already reload technically to the max, so we're just going to end our turn. 515 damage. Compared to, again, 515 damage compared to Renoa's attack, right? Where her counter attack was that base attack. Again, we have Sir Kowalski, but we'll play our 0 AP cards, I think. Let's see here. Do this. Let's just apply the agony anyway. We'll play that card and we'll draw 2. Because we have too much AP. I kind of want my flower card. Where's my Renoa cards? Okay, hold on. Let's just do this. Get some more damage. And... okay, I'm just gonna reload, man. Honestly, what the heck? These hands are kind of scuffed. It's not the optimal turn rotation in terms of my cards in hand. Alright, so we're going to second form. That shield's protecting me a lot, although I don't think we need to with Mika. I mean, these farmable weekly things are not meant to be difficult, I suppose. So, and I might actually play this card just to get that extra reload, but I think on this turn I won't have enough AP, assuming that I'm gonna, you know, do as much damage as possible with Renoa instead. Yeah, again, this one creates a lot of good shields, but it's not my go-to damage dealing one. So in the next round, I'll play with the damage dealing one. But again, looking at using Renoa as a base of how much damage I'm doing when I end the turn and she uses the Ballista, look at the damage. So she's not, again, she's not a weakling. Her damage is really good. Nice, we got that card. Okay, so let me draw more cards so we can devour it. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna devour this one, so he had to do an animation. So thank you for giving us that. I should have played this one first, so his turn count, so he didn't have to like interject. And because I don't even want to play this, I'm gonna reload 2. I'm gonna reload again. And I think that's the last one because we reloaded 4 times. Again, you have 4 times per fight, and I think it's exhausted, it's totally gone. So we're just gonna shoot him. Now, you know what? Let's draw one anyway. I don't know what we can draw here. No, it wouldn't mattered. Okay, we're just gonna finish him off. Cause his stupid hand things, it's pretty annoying. Oh, I guess I should explain her ego skill as well. 250% piercing damage to all enemies. It's AoE, and of course it bypasses the shield. So if I hit cancel here, you see that the shield is not actually going down, but just the pure HP, and then gain maximum reload. So it's also nice to show off. So I'm gonna do it. Maximum reload would be 3. Hopefully we can break the shield with Renoa here, and then maybe we can actually just see her Ballista damage going to almost broken. Let's see here, let's do this. 493, right? That's 3 reload, that's not even with the 4. Alright. 6 AP now, so again, with the Mika setup, with Veronica, you can imagine this setup being very, very good with even Rin, right? I'm actually gonna exhaust these Dirge Bullets so I can kill them faster. I think this run is pretty much done. So Veronica overall is simple to use, and she does a ton of damage. So you see, she's just consistent damage output. So it's your main damage dealer plus however much damage you have on her in terms of what epiphanies you went with. Is it a piercing one? Is it AoE? Very, very flexible. I'm gonna change my Renoa save data here. We're gonna go to my pure damage one. And I think this is the one I'm using right now. This one is the one that creates the bullets the fastest. And this one, I don't know what on Ravage means. So it's another mythic, but unfortunately it's only 12% attack versus this one is 0, like 40% more damage for 0 cards, which a lot of Dirge Bullet would be. So, but I'm gonna play this one. This one's consistently good, high damage output, just because again, we can do, let me actually purchase one of these. We can rotate those Dirge Bullets way faster. Let's see if we get a bit of luck. Yeah, we gotta run this. We always have to run that. Let's see here. We could draw one. Let's see. Okay, we don't have any Dirge Bullet creation at the moment. No echo. Which that means the next hand is gonna have at least 1 echo, right? Or flower. Now, I might have too many bullets on the next turn, and this one doesn't have that much, but it's okay. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so 2 flowers. Okay, so this one's actually pretty fun. Okay, so let's draw 2 because we got 2 cards. So this one discards all, right? So let me do this. This is a fun combo that I like doing on Renoa as well. So we got extra 2 cards, and both of them can be discarded. So I'm gonna do that. And this is super fun. So I have this epiphany that applies agonies to all enemies, but I could basically just apply 2. I could apply the agony for free if I run this card. So I applied that agony to him, and I basically just recycled these. So now I have a free agony on him, as you can see. We're gonna run this, and we're just gonna discard all of it. So this one is way quicker at creating Dirge Bullets, or as if I'm gonna chain with my ego skill. My ego is already available here. We don't have any other good skill cards. Hopefully we get a new Ballista. No, we don't. I'm just gonna end this one. Maybe I should have played the ego skill on that turn because we just honestly get the Ballistica. We just push him into phase 2. This one, 2 Echo of Sorrow. This is really nice as well. Create 1 Dirge Bullet while doing damage and draw 1 card. Create 1 Dirge Bullet, do damage, and then draw 1 card. It's so nuts. So this is what I mean by like this comp that I have has been super efficient in terms of outputting the most damage. I have AP battery. I have extra crazy stuff going on. And those Dirge Bullets are not even going to be used because our hand ends here. If we have a bad hand next, I'll play the cards and I'll do the ego skill. Oh wait, it continues. Wait, okay, that's really good. That's nice. Even better for us. Although this is not so much of a Veronica showcase, but again, I am showcasing, I think, her flexibility. Just be able to create the cards, and characters that love you using cards are gonna love her as well. Veronica, that is. I might even use it on this turn. Might kill him too fast. At this point, we have so many Dirge Bullets that we can exhaust them, like you actually use them, so it does more damage. Super satisfying combo to run them together. I can use that as well. I can do this for wave. So this one would be like one of those turns where I was talking about this card being useful to run more AP. Like, you could try your hand at this. Let's do it anyway. Maybe we get 2 Ballista cards. No, the 20%, that's the issue with this. The 20% chances sometimes just doesn't work. But let's run this. This will use up the Dirge Bullet with that 1 AP, of course, and then we can run this twice, right? So we have 3 reload. So no shield on him. We just do pure naked damage. 561. That's not even a crit. If you have the stats, if you have optimal memory fragments for her, and she's built with crit and has some crit damage from her potential or from the gear itself, that's just really, really, really good damage. Oh my goodness, I just, well, see? Like this turn, I created an extra Ballista, that's great. But we're gonna reload as well. So we can shoot twice. We might actually be able to kill him. Max this out. We might actually be able to kill him just with the 2 Ballista when we end the turn. Yeah, see? So very good damage. Very easy to use. Once you get the card, once you get a decent deck on her, like run her, she's super worth it. She's also very cute. And I'm not even meaning that in like a degen way. She's just a cute character and has like this cute hamster mouse thing. So like, you know, what's not to like? In my opinion, Veronica is one of my favorite 5 stars and it's been helping me throughout the content. So if you have her and you're struggling, consider building her, pair her with Mika and another primary damage dealer, and with all the mechanics in mind, you kind of know how to use her now, hopefully. Anyways, I'm going to end this video here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. If you enjoyed this content, please let me know if you want to see more of this kind of in-depth guide, I guess, per character, or what other kind of CZN content would you like. Let me hear it in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I will see you guys next time.